Well, hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Ladies Listen Up. What is your relationship with your money? Don't forget, go and grab a sister girl and say, come on over. We got some learning to do in our notebooks and some notes to take and some decisions to make so that next year, 2023, we have a slogan in our circles, 2023 set me free. And man, oh man, oh man. But guess what? None of that happens if we don't put some action behind what we're learning here. So before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. So I hope everybody is doing well today. Y'all know. I got to get my sip on. Oh, that's so good. I need two. It's funny how sometimes we don't stop and smell the roses. My father used to tell me this all the time, and I said, Daddy, what are you talking about? He just said, Girl, you move so fast, you're doing this, doing that. You need to stop and smell the roses. Well, I had three little babies I had twins and a 7-year-old. And I was like, well, okay, I'll stop and smell the roses, in a little bit. I got to keep going. I have to keep, making all this work, juggling, juggling, juggling. But now I understand what he meant when he said stop and smell the roses, because along the journey, life is the journey. And we create all of these different stories and all of these different experiences and memories by enjoying the journey. So I had to learn how to pivot and change and shift and not just have my mind on the destination, because you can put your head down with blinders on and all of a sudden life has just went by you, and you're still on your way to your destination, right? And then when you get there, it kind of flies a little bit more as you're learning and as we are going towards our purpose. So also just wanted to thank my cousin Cecil and my cousin Michael Benson. You guys are so supportive, and I thank you on the male side of things, for my family being supportive and giving me feedback and just letting me know that what I'm doing here with the Ladies Listen Up series, so it's touching men as well. It's just that women, I have such a heart for women, and I just wanted to be able to get our ear and say, look, we need to do something a little bit different. And so men are also welcome. We also have the segment on ladies and gent listen up, but I'm sure, like I said, men are welcome. I got a message back, the other day, and they said, your I guess because they tagged me the menopause mama, but my whole thing is health, wealth, and wellness, the whole wellness of life. He said, what makes you think that I was interested in menopause? And I'm thinking sometimes we miss our blessings because we are so narrow minded in things, right? So if we can see the whole picture, yes, women are my focus in getting us educated and getting our mind on our money. But so many men are gleaning from the experience of being, either involved in Oasis Wellness of Life or just from the information, because the money game is the same, whether it's male or female. So it's just funny how some people, take things or see things or what have you. But, I just wanted to share that with everybody. Men are welcome, more than welcome, and I think too, even in my menopause series, I have some men, that say, I'm glad you shared this information because now I understand what my wife or my significant other is going through. So when you have a better understanding, then I can help her out. Now I know why, the temperature is up and the temperature is down, and the covers are on and the covers are off. At least I don't think she's crazy anymore. I know that she's going through some hormonal imbalances, right? So it's just how we see things, and sometimes, we kind of project those things on other people. But what I've learned, and then we're going to get into grandma's cookie jar. But the lesson that I've learned is that, other people's thoughts, opinions, or what have you, they're not your business. So why should it affect you, right? As long as you're doing the things that that are in line with your integrity and your character compass, and that karma is a mug, and you treat people fair, and you go about finding your purpose. As long as all those things and what you deem to be important are intact, again, other people's opinion really shouldn't affect you. It's not your business, right? All right, let's go on to grandma's cookie jar. Grandma's cookie jar of wisdom. Let's see. Grandma's cookie jar is a hit. Everybody's talking about grandma's cookie jar. I think because, we all know that, the stories from back when, all of those stories, man, I'm from Michigan, right? Detroit. And, we have, Motown, the sounds of Motown. So, don't put me on some good old Smokey Robinson or some Temptations or some, my sister girl, we were talking about, what is it? I heard it through the grapevine. Man, I tell you, don't put on some of that, and we'll get the jamming on you, right? So anyhow, wow, I love this, love this, love this. Grandma's cookie jar today. It says we rise by lifting others. And on the back it says today is magical. And as I look outside here in Michigan and we have snow on the top and snow on the ground, on the top of the trees and on the ground, I said, man, oh man, that can be magical, right? So anyway, today I just wanted to, talk a little bit, this very serious topic, talk a little bit about money and bad relationships. We've all had them. If we've been in the dating scene or married and divorced or whatever, we've all had them. One of the things in our book, Daddy Daughter Dynamic, one of the sentences says, heal the hurt or repeat the pain. That just struck me because, again, everybody knows that no secret that I'm a survivor of domestic violence a couple of times over. This domestic violence can come in multiple ways. It can come in, physical, psychological, emotional, in your money, so that's financial abuse. It can come in all different shapes, forms, or fashions. And so one of the movies that I watched and I really related to was Tyler Perry's The Fall from Grace. Now, one of the things that popped in my head when I thought about bringing this segment was tall, dark, and handsome can leave you broke, homeless, and feeling crazy and feeling off balance. A whirlwind, just like in the Tyler Perry's movie, A Fall from Grace, it was an amazing, incredible story, but it was just so scary how real these situations, and they happen more often than not. I started talking about earlier this week about Jennifer Lewis and her story of being conned out of $50,000 by a con man. And one of the lines in that movie, Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace 2020 movie, one of the things that the gentleman said was, women your age are low hanging fruit, because he targeted her. She was a mark, and I think it is for us to educate ourselves to understand, and how to read people, not just men in relationships, but people, period. Understanding and feeling, going by our feeling. Because sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't trust our own gut instinct about somebody. And that's how a con man, con woman, con artist can get over on you because you're busy doing whatever you're doing. I've been in relationships, horrific relationships, that turned that way because I was so busy with my mind on success and my mind on, just, making it, right? Making things happen, creating. I'm a creator. So I create, I love to create. And so just wanted us to really, really hone in and understand that, if you choose or allow the wrong person to choose you, because they say, what do they say? Men choose, women pick. So if you pick the wrong one, life can turn into a thriller movie like A Fall from Grace. It was a whirlwind love story, right? She was disheartened by an affair. I believe it was an affair by her ex-husband. So here comes a new romance, the flowers, the fun, the excitement, the getting to know somebody, the starting to let your walls down. And that's what she did. She went into this whole new romance and flowers and all this other stuff. And it felt like it was a restoration. And then short-lived her joy because the secrets started to come out and erode. Her vulnerability turned into violence and into rage. So I'm not going to tell the whole story because some people may not have seen it, but it is very parable to life. So I bring that back around and say it's so important that we understand how to read people and just not, just go with the flow, or being sick and tired of just being focused on your work and not getting out and enjoying yourself. So it's a balance. It's a balance, balancing out our life, balancing out our money. And I wanted to get around to that as far as our money, because when you get into a bad relationship, it affects your bottom line. It actually, again, can flatline you and have you starting all over again if you have the strength to do it. So you want to make sure that when you select a person or a partner, that they're checking off all the boxes, and that you actually, I heard it somewhere where I believe it was, can't think of the, I think it was a pastor, I can't think of his name right now, but he said, trust people, but do your investigations. That's what he said. Trust but fact check. That's what I say. Trust but fact check. Make sure that the things that are being said are true and that actions line up with what's coming out of somebody's mouth. And some of these things, as little girls, we're not taught. We're taught that there's going to be a Prince Charming that's going to ride over on a horse, and he's going to take us away, and all of our problems and all of our stuff is going to go away, and it's going to be the beautiful wonderland. But that's not really reality. And that's why we hear of so many people becoming so shattered and so heartbroken, because as little girls, we are nurtured to love, and we're nurturers by, just by nature. So we're nurturers. So, the Fall from Grace, it just hit me because it's a thriller, but it's like so many parables to real life and what really happens if we're not paying attention. And the reason I was going to bring this topic up today is because I was asleep, and when I woke up, I sleep to meditative music, to my gospel, to keep me in a good place. I woke up to Judge Lynn Toller, and she was talking about marriage and how people have all these titles, and they put titles on people. So this is the flip side of what I just talked about the thriller of A Fall from Grace. But Judge Toller, she was talking about in her life, and she had a long, fruitful marriage. She said in her life, if she had listened to society about valued man and valued woman, she would have never married her husband, and he was a total blessing to her. She said that he was coming out of a divorce. Money, financial issues was all over, because divorce can wreak havoc on your finances. He had 4 to 6 children or something like that. And so by just the outside look, wait a minute, maybe not. But really getting to know the person and really getting to know how you can come together and how you can be successful. So he said, wait, I'm going to put my practice to the side and I'm going to support you, which is nothing wrong with that. And people say a man that does that is a simp or something like that. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous, because whether it's male or female, if you come together and you pool your things, meaning your experiences, your life, you bring all that richness to the table, and it's the right people with the right intentions, understanding that it's about the whole and not just about me by me or me by me, but you come together and you can glean upon the strength. I say, well, if he can bake a potato better, let him bake the potato. If you can add it to money better, add it to money better. Now you got good food and good money. You that's the richness that Judge Lynn Toller was talking about. She said he got behind her and they worked it out together. He brought his background, and she ended up with the successful divorce court show and many other things to the attribution of the two of them coming together. So one of the things that I just started following her, started following Judge Mathis. Again, I talk about that round table of experience, the round table of education that can come together, and you can sit there and you can glean from that and say, wow, that makes sense there. She talked about when you meet somebody, think about the 5 things, the pros and the cons, but the 5 things on the con list, the things that not cons, we just talked about that, we need to get that out of our vocabulary, but the 5 things about that person, the negative things that kind of get on your nerves a little bit, and really, really reason with yourself, can I live with this long term? These 5 things. And if you can, then that's a situation that you can work out. If you can't, be honest with yourself and be honest with that person, because just because the 2 people are not right for each other does not mean that it's something wrong with either. And people take that as a rejection. It's like, that's not a rejection. It's just common sense. These two don't mix. The oil and the water, right? It does not mix. So hey, let's not do this to either parties, right? Because somebody's going to end up miserable. So I hope that made sense. I was thinking about that fall from grace. It just hit me some sort of way. And Judge Toller talking about how in her marriage, how it worked and why it worked. And I just thought that was really, really great. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. Listen, learn, and leverage the information. And I'll see you all next time. Stay fearless. Bye for now.